I prepared this data analytics career switch blueprint for anyone who is looking to become a data analyst in the next 6 months, looking into breaking into tech, and you want to become a data analyst. This is a complete end-to-end guide on how to start your journey and end it with success. So first, I say to people, why data analytics in the first place, and why are you doing it right now? If you look at the World Economic Forum released in 2025, the World Economic Forum release says over 170 million jobs will be introduced, and about 92 million jobs currently would fade off, meaning we'll be left with 98 million, and most of which are driven by AI, data, and robotics. So it is very, very important that you upskill and in data. So whatever you're doing right now, if you're an admin person, a retail person, sales in product, in marketing, you need to improve your skill. You need to up your game. You need to increase your skills through data analytics. You need to upskill. There'll be skills shortage all across the UK. Employers across now saying globally that they are finding it difficult to actually fill the data roles. And it's increasing. And the core of this thing is actually, like I said, the change that is coming is actually through data. Now we have AI adoption massively, even across the UK. You can hear that the Prime Minister is saying that and UK wants UK to be the top and the lead when it comes to AI initiative and adoption. So this is the time for you to start upskilling right now. AI adoption is not going to be replacing analysts if you keep building yourself. AI is driving demand for professionals who can, frame business questions, interpret data to improve the business. All right, good. So, and definitely you understand that this will lead to an increase in income. And we can see within the range of 35K to 45K, and some even as much as 65K, even for a start, sometimes, depending on your location, like I said. And combined with your initial background, this will even push you up faster than you think. So, why exactly data analysis, like I said, and what is it all about? Okay. Data analytics just has this set of steps that I've broken down into 4: collection, cleaning, analysis, and communication. So the idea is that you collect the data and you can understand that we are generating data every day from your conversations, from your chats, and all you do moving around. Data is being collected. Now, this data must be processed, but before it's being processed, it has to be clean because it contains information that is not right. You mean the columns, the rows, sometimes they are messy. You need to clean it up. And the next thing is for you to now analyze the data to make sense of it. You begin to spot trends, patterns, and you begin to make decisions based on that. So you are creating what we call business insight for your decision maker, for stakeholders to be able to act on. But now it doesn't end in that. You need to be able to communicate the information, or let me say the insights you have gathered. That means you need to know how to report, you need to know how to build dashboards that would display the whole thing just at a glance. You can understand and tell the story of what the data is all about. If you know how to do some of these things, some of which you have been doing with Excel before, this is the time for you to upskill, to add the next skill to it. Now, before I proceed, there are common needs we need to deal with. 5 myths that people think, about switching into tech or before becoming a data analyst. People believe you need to have a computer science degree. And I'm saying to you, you don't need to have a computer science degree. As a matter of fact, if you're coming from a non-STEM background, it might be a plus for you because you are coming with a fresh perspective. For example, a lady who is on accelerator at the moment is a lawyer. She has always doubted herself long before now until she went for an interview and the interviewer told her, I'm also a philosopher, a psychologist. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. And this lady has been doing analytics like anything else. All right, good. So the most reality in the UK, if I put it this way, is that analysts don't require any of those things when it comes to you having the background as a mathematician or a computer scientist. No, we just need you to work on a project to be able to prove that you can do it, then become visible. This is better than having a degree, I must say. And it's even not about gathering certifications. Another thing is you must be a coder. Let me put it this way, that everybody think, being in tech, most people think being in tech requires coding. No, coding is not always the thing you do in tech. I must say that there are non-coding tech roles, and data is like one of the low-code tech roles because you can actually be a data analyst without coding. Well, SQL sometimes could be interpreted as coding, but I must say to you that it's not difficult to learn. So SQL, Excel, Power BI. The combination of these three is enough for you to start, and then you can build on it later. You don't need certifications every time. From my experience in the UK, over 3 years, we've been training professionals. We've trained over 1,400 professionals. None of them has been asked for certificates. So recruiters, employers, business owner, once prove that you know how to do it, they need to see your portfolio to see what you have worked on, the businesses you have helped, and the experience you have gained through that. This is more preferred to certifications. Also, understand that it doesn't end on boot camp. People also want to just go for a 3 months boot camp and they think they are there. This is not to say that it doesn't help, but that's just the starting. Beyond boot camps, you need to be able to build experience on working on real problems. And then beyond that, you have to also be able to make yourself visible. That is, know how to put yourself out there so that recruiters can call you, invite you into the room. The other thing is about time. People think it's difficult to go into tech because there's no time. You need the whole time in the world. And I say this, it is not true. We built something when it comes to the lead system, and all you need a week is just 7 hours to 10 hours. And think about it this way: we have 7 days in the week, just an hour per day. It's enough to start. And then you can build on it. So definitely there will be other days where you're free, where you didn't go to work and you're just resting, and after which you can go back to your analysis, go back to your training and build on it. There are a lot of jobs that doesn't carry data analyst. In fact, there are a lot of roles. Sometimes the roles are being defined by the domain and what you'll be doing. And these the common ones are definitely the popular ones: data analyst, BI analyst. BI means business intelligence. Because if you think deeply about it, the whole idea is to to create what we call business intelligence, or let me say share business intelligence, to make sense of what the data of the business is saying. Then you can become a reporting analyst, an insight analyst, commercial analyst, financial analyst, and all sort of things. And sometimes, like I said earlier, that the skills you need and just be Excel and dashboarding skills. Sometimes you need database knowledge and BI. Okay, the other thing which is very common is communication. It is very key, and stakeholder management, because you'll be dealing with business owners, you'll be dealing with stakeholders. You need to be able to manage stakeholders. All right. The next one is your analytic skills. When it comes to analytics, you need analytical thinking. You need to think beyond the obvious. You need to be able to put one and two together to understand patterns. You need problem solving ability. And now, if you look at this, at the center of it is what we call communication, because you can solve the problem, but for you to excel, you need to be able to communicate the solution. And that's why you also need to think about problem solving. Data is useful for you, is a tool that you use to solve problems. And once you have access to it, your thinking cap must be put on. You must have it on. Now, this is it. How do you understand? How do you start your journey? Like, I've listed things you need to do and how to understand the domain itself. Now, I usually advise that people go through market to understand the market. You do what we call market research. I'm going to do a quick one here. You go on LinkedIn. Depends on whatever location you find yourself. I say this often. Just go to jobs, type data analyst. I'm in the UK, so I'll use data analyst in the UK for example. Now there are a lot of jobs, like I said. You can see now, you see data quality analyst. These roles sometimes are defined by what you'll be doing. So I start with the first one, commercial insight analyst. Then I choose, the what's it called, the difficulty level. Sometimes you have mid levels, entry levels. So all you want to do is to go over the job description and the requirement. You look at the commonly appearing or asked for tools. And if you let's take it one after the other. Let's talk about commercial acumen. That is, you need to have understanding of the business and the domain. Remember, I said it doesn't matter the domain you're coming from. Do you have transferable skills? And firstly, your knowledge of the domain can help. So if you have a background in commerce, e-commerce or whatever it is, that is enough for you to start. And all you need to do is now to build on it. So how do you know what you lack when you don't go to the market to know what the market is asking for? And so if you go again to the next one, say data literacy. Obviously, if you're a data professional, you need to understand how to read data, how to understand it, how to interpret it, the rows and columns. So now they went to technical skills, and this is where we are going, because most of the time people think it's about certification. Yes, it is good that you have the soft skill. Now you need to also have the technical skill, and that is what you are coming to do, right? It seems to be the most difficult aspect. But then people dive in, start learning tools without really understanding what the market is asking for and now the market wants it. So let's go over this. Say data visualization. I mentioned earlier, you'll be visualizing data, you'll be analyzing data. You want to show the visuals of what your analysis. It makes sense when people can see through visuals, not you just saying the words, but you showing them as well. So look at the tools there. Looking at Tableau, Excel, SQL, and all this is about extracting data. I will leave it at this for now. You have already seen the skills they are asking for, but for you to be sure that it's commonly asked for, you now need to go over 20 to 30 jobs. Now, we'll allow you to do this by yourself. We're going to do about 2 or 3 more jobs to see if really these things are repeated or not. From there, you begin to form a pattern, and that is what will guide your learning from them. And then, as established earlier, you can see communication, storytelling, creativity, presentation skills, because beyond analysis, you need to be able to present the result of your analysis. You need to be able to also communicate it to stakeholders. You need to know about problem solving. You can see all these things are there repeated. I didn't even look at this job before we put together the slide. For you to tell you that the slide was put together based on the understanding of the market. Then I go to the next job. Let's scroll down. This is what you do every time. Let's scroll down. If you see this, the job description, then you go to the requirements. Sometimes when they say your responsibilities, you want to look at the essential criteria. Now have a look at it. You say this: to be successful in this role, you will have experience on an understanding of using Google Analytics 4 and Power BI to access data. Now this is it. Google Analytics is just it's another tool that is used to collect and track data on a website. So we've seen visualization. Power BI is one of it. It's like a similar tool to Tableau, as we have seen Tableau earlier. Then look at this. You need Excel or Google Sheets. Then we wrote here presentation. Remember we said presentation and visualization, they are very, very important. And then a clear way to communicate complex messages. So we're talking about communication here. So you start to see those words, they are repeated. So if you are working in communications before, you already have a plus. That is, you know how to communicate visuals. If you're already also working in visualization, graphics, and you know how to put things together, you have a plus. If in your role you have been presenting before, now it's a plus. So I tell people, either you are switching from a tech background or not into data analytics, you are not blank. That is, you have something you are bringing from whatever domain you are coming from that is useful in this new domain. Then the next thing is BigQuery. BigQuery is actually a tool that is used in alignment with Google Analytics, and most of them are used for web analytics. Most of the time, you find it in that kind of domain. But then look at this again. SQL. This is the second time we are seeing SQL and some other tools that is related to Google. We look at another job, another one again, another role. You take a look. This is how you do it step by step. You begin to copy them. You can copy them in an Excel sheet, one role after the other. And then what you're trying to do at the end is to see if there's a pattern, you understand, to see what is commonly appearing. And you can see SQL again. You can see we have BI again. So these are the things. By the time you continue, you begin to spot the repeated ones. You begin to notice patterns. So again, if you have seen SQL, if you have seen BI, you understand that SQL has been appearing in all the jobs that we have opened. And that is to show you that SQL on its own is an important tool to learn. So this is how you begin to know, in order of importance, what are the tools I can't, ignore? What are when it comes to building your technical skills? And then scrolling again, you can look at it again, BI, which is business intelligence. You see, so that is actually an important one, and it's something you can build on the job, but understanding the tools that you can use to do them is very, very important. And this particular role is interesting. It did not really specify any other technical skills. They just need you to have, some soft skills and a basic knowledge or understanding of data. And let's look at this fraud technical data analyst. Again, like remember I said earlier that roles sometimes are being defined based on what you'll be doing. And again, we can see SQL. Then we saw SAS. SAS is also another tool that is used in the industry, but this is the first time we are seeing SAS. Okay, so if you start to see, we saw data warehousing the other time, and some requirements are specific to some domains. So if you keep on going one after the other, by the time you go through 20 jobs that are specifically data analyst jobs, what you will discover is that you discover the common tools that are being asked for. And that's how you begin to form your own roadmap. Okay, this is for you to validate if you are on any course right now, you are learning anything, you want to actually look at the roadmap. All right, you want to build a roadmap for yourself and see if it's in alignment. So learn all those things, which is very good. Then the next thing is for you to build experience by working on project, by interning or in an accelerator where have access to clients kind of data issues to be able to resolve. Then once you have that, the next is that you have to present yourself in a marketable way. That means putting all the things you've learned and repackaging it into your CV. Now, this is an aspect where people also get stuck. They don't know how to present it. You need to understand how recruiters, how the people that will employ you also see you, how they want to see you, how they see your skills. So you need to be able to present it in the right way for them to see that you've got the skills. All right. So the next is for you to network. Now, in this current day world, I'll be honest with you, you can't do away with visibility, referrals, okay, and communities. They help a lot. So you need to be able to understand the domain you are, right? Your environment and what is required. But like I say, because a lot is changing, credibility is something that is very, very important. And you can actually get that through networking. If you become a credible person and through your network, you can actually get opportunity. Visibility is something you can't joke with right now. Then you move from there. All these things has been put together in a framework through our accelerator and a boot camp from LCFA, London Center for Analytics. And the first is that you are learning the core tools we have established earlier through a boot camp. The next is that you implement them on real projects. Now we have an opportunity for you to work on real clients project. How? We have a partner company, Vividex, where we have access to clients' data and information. And this is based on the agreement that the clients allow us to make our intent to work on on those problems. So you have that direct access to real life situations, you are solving problems and making impact in whatever domain you're thinking about. Is it sales, retail, product, market, web analytics? And after that time, you can then begin to frame them back into your CV. This moment you are now in the accelerator pipeline because you get access to the internship through the accelerator. Then as you're building your skills, working on tasks, gaining experience, we are optimizing your CV, plugging all the skills you are gaining into your CV and also giving you a visibility template. And this is where the transformation comes when you begin to work on real problems, like I said, through the internship. So you are building projects, you are solving problems, you are gaining the confidence that will allow you to speak at the interviews. And these are the things again highlighted now. Remember, we highlighted the hard skills, that is the technical skills. Now I've listed also what you need to know, which is the soft skills, the hard skills, and the things you'll be doing and be building. First in soft skills, communication. Very, very important. Critical thinking or analytical thinking, very, very important. You need to see beyond what is obvious and begin to put patterns together. Also, business acumen, if you think about it very well, it's also related to the domain knowledge. That is, you need to know the domain you are, how the data is being interpreted. It becomes obvious by the time you gain more understanding of that domain. Stakeholder management, you're going to be dealing with business owner, you're going to be dealing with different departments within an organization who needs your knowledge or who needs your insight to be able to make decisions. So you need to be able to manage their expectations. You need to be able to relate with them in a way they can understand. And so beyond communication, we need stakeholder management. Again, just to tell you about the hard skills needed, as you have seen SQL repeatedly appearing, it is is a very, very important tool. The next one is Microsoft Excel, where you're going to be learning pivot table, Power Query, XLOOKUP, VLOOKUPs, and all sort of things, conditional formatting, and you'll be doing some DAX on it. Then the next is Power BI for visualization. Okay, and Python, I wrote here, it is optional, but it is powerful. It helps you for on automation. It can also help you to start to do small machine learning, linear regression, forecasting, and all sorts of things on the side. Now, what are you going to be doing with all these skills? You're going to be building dashboards. You're going to be building reports to give an outlook of the business, how it is performing. You're going to be building forecasting models, discount analysis. You're going to be doing customer lifetime value to understand the customer and which of the customers is actually bringing impact to the business, giving us more money. Businesses are so interested. They prioritize those kind of customers. And the ones that are not doing well, they start to think of how they can incentivize them, do a follow-up or help them and push them, motivate them to continue to, deal with them. So those are insights you'll be generating. Different KPIs, key performance indicator, because as a business is existing, there's a need to actually examine the performance of the business. And you begin to give them market insights. All right, all these things you can actually do over 60, 6 months, which is 180 days. Now, the first one is the first 3 months, 90 days, which is like a quick start. And all you're doing is building the technical skills, the beginning skills as a beginner from scratch. So the week 1 to week 4, you're mastering Excel and SQL. Then you're building a small project that would help you to make sense of what you've been doing. Then the week 2 or the week 5 to 9, you're building your Power BI, you're actually improving your skills, learning Power BI, and building some knowledge on Python. You make small projects as well, you work on different analysis that would help you to move into the next stage. So therefore, you have touched the 4 most important tools. Then the next thing right now, you have you have the skills you can now put in the CV. You begin to build your CV. We then overhaul your LinkedIn. Perhaps your LinkedIn might not be in the best shape now. As you improve your skills, as you improve the knowledge, your tools knowledge, you start to load them on LinkedIn. And this is then we hand you the visibility playbook. All these things have been arranged in a way that you can get results, for you to get results quickly within a very, very short time. Like I say, very, very short time. I've seen people get results, Pascal get results within 3 weeks, Penny within a month. Okay. And it even came with sponsorship for her. A lot of things are possible in the domain, but you have to start. Then the next is on the week 13 to 20, we had dream mock interviews. Why? At that moment, you start getting interviews while you're already interning, building your skills, volunteering with our partners to solve their problems. Okay, and all these things designed over a 90 days quick start plus a 3 months internship opportunity. And then, like I said earlier, this is Kenny, and she shared her testimony. She was a support worker with no tech background. She actually studied accounting, but she moved into the UK to study accounting, did her master's, and then she couldn't land a role. Then she thought about it. I think tech is good. Let me start. She built her knowledge in Excel while she's trying to improve on the other tools. She got her first job. Boom. The old first job only requires the knowledge of Excel and other soft skills that we've mentioned earlier. Then from there, she got the next role and she got promoted 3 bands higher, and then got sponsored. Within all this happened within 4 months. All this happened within 4 months. So I say to you, if you are willing to also take this particular route, and get result without confusion, where your hand is being held, we don't just train, we stay with you on the journey till you secure a role. That is our arrangement, that is our plan, and that is our agreement with you. So the trainings will be happening live on Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. You'll be building real knowledge from sales to retail, product, web analytics, market analytics. And after that, you move into the internship. From the internship, you begin to build your exposure to the market and build stronger experience. All these are being placed on your CV. You get access to one-on-one mentorship and career coaching. So you have managers you are reporting to as you are working on different projects. So you are never stuck. You have team members you are deliberating with, an opportunity to present your work to stakeholders so you can get feedback and improve on your work. Alongside this is what we call interview prep. For every interview you're going, you have a preparation section. We do mock interviews as well, and we do what we call interviewing circuit, where people who have gone for interviews come back to the community, and then they share their experience. We ask questions, we brainstorm. This is for you to have a knowledge of what could happen in your own coming interview. And this one is done alongside CV optimization, LinkedIn optimization, and then you have access, like I mentioned, to our alumni community, the people who are already working in the industry, so that they can also share their ideas. This also helps our visibility and our networking. In case there's an opportunity within the organization, it is very, very easy for them to recommend you. They know your work, they know your job. If you're interested, you sign up. Just drop me a message. Go to LCFA.ai, LCFA.ai, and then book a clarity call if you're unsure if this program is for you. Thank you.